Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I will be ranking the albums of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, ELP. So Emerson, Lake and Palmer was founded by Keith Emerson from The Nice, Carl Palmer from Arthur Brown and Atomic Rooster, and Greg Lake from King Crimson. And they were a supergroup formed. First album came out in 1970. And so today we're going back to Prog, and I will be ranking these albums. So let's get started. My least favorite album by Emerson, Lake and Palmer is called Black Moon. Now, this one does rank a little low on most people's list, but not the bottom. But the reason that this album ranks the bottom for me is basically it just sounds like a stock pop album that they put out, the reunion album, basically. The production is good, but it's that kind of 80s quality production. I just didn't, it's okay, I guess, to listen to in the background, but there's not a lot of virtuosity. It's not something that I would expect from ELP. But, it's not a bad album. That's the thing about ranking these albums from ELP is like, a lot of them are just so close. So it's like if I say an album's number 4, it could be number 1 in 2 weeks. Just the more I listen to it and, just things of that nature. So it was very, very difficult for me to rank these albums, especially when I get to the top 4. But anyways, yeah, Black Moon, there's just really no standouts to me on it. It's nothing that I really enjoy listening to. Again, like I said, it's not bad. It's just not really good, in my opinion. The next one is going to be Works, Volume 2. Again, this was one that ranks pretty low in most people's rankings, but this is, to me, is just like a mishmash of outtakes or something. It's almost reminds me of, it's like ELP's The Endless River or something. Pink Floyd came out with The Endless River, and if you go back and watch my Pink Floyd album rankings, I describe it as basically clips of music that just sound unfinished. And this one's not like that. I mean, they do sound finished, but they're just small little ditties, mostly, maple, rag. I mean, it's just little ditties that they put together, and it just doesn't really give me anything that I'm thinking quality-wise from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It's almost like they just decided, let's just put out, part 2, and it just be a bunch of stuff that we put together. Again, the virtuosity's there. It's very complex, again, like, ELP always is. I keep wanting to say King Crimson. But, yeah, it's just, it's not something I go back to and listen to a lot. The next one is In the Hot Seat. I like this one better than Black Moon, just because it seems a little bit more like ELP to me. I can hear Emerson being a little bit more complex than he played in Black Moon. It's still as accessible as a pop album as Black Moon is. I like it more. I enjoy it a little bit more than Black Moon, and certainly more than Works 2, just because Works 2, it does have the complexity, but it's just not up to par, as far as I'm concerned, as far as releasing a real album. But again, In the Hot Seat to me is listenable. It ranks pretty low in most people's rankings, but I like it better than these 2. Now, the next one's going to be a little bit controversial to most people, but not to me. It's Love Beach. I consider it to be a subpar pop album, but it has a very strong second side. And that's the thing about it. A lot of people dismiss it, and they're like, oh, man, Love Beach, I think a lot of people are turned off by the cover of it, and maybe by the pop sensibility coming from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, since they were very complex before this album. But this album, if you listen to the second side of it, it does sound like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I mean, the first side is very, I admit, very pop, but the second side is really good. Memoirs of an Officer and Gentleman. I mean, just a great epic song. But all of side two, I think, is quality work. Yeah, I don't like the cover of the album, but I'm not just going to dismiss something because of the cover of the album. Again, it's not as strong as the albums prior to it, but, you know, I enjoy it. The second side especially. First side, I could care less about. Moving on is Emerson, Lake and Powell. Now, I didn't really want to put this album in there, but to me, it is Emerson, Lake and Palmer without Palmer. It's very underrated. I think it's a quality album. It's a solid album. I don't see anything wrong with it other than Carl Palmer's not there. You still have the complexity of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. You still have Keith Emerson's still there. You know, Greg Lake's still there. So it's really a solid album, and I recommend it. I recommend, if you've never heard Emerson, Lake and Powell, the album, to check it out because you might enjoy it. You know, try to ignore that there's a missing piece, you know, that's been replaced. I mean, I think a lot of times we get so caught up in that, you know, band drama, that it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to listen to this because so-and-so's not playing for them. Do you like it? Do you like the song? Do you like the music? I mean, I see myself getting caught up in that sort of silliness sometimes. But I had a follower make a comment like that one time. He's like, hey, I just like the music for the music. And, you know, that's true. That's true. We should really just listen to the song and say, you know, it don't matter if it's Goofy and Mickey Mouse playing it. You know, if we like the song, we like the song. So anyways, moving on. Works Part 1 or Volume 1. This is more accessible to me than Works 2. The piano concerto at the beginning, I like that. C'est la vie, I love that song. That's a great song by Greg Lake. Greg Lake had such a beautiful voice and good songwriting skills. You've got, I didn't care too much about Tank, but I liked it better. I like this Tank better than the one that I'll mention later because it sounded like an Atari game or something. But Closer to Believing's okay. Hallowed Be Thy Name's okay. But yeah, I mean it's a decent album. I would rank it like on a scale of say 1 to 5. I would rank it like a 3. It's okay. I mean I'll listen to it from time to time. Moving on is Brain Salad Surgery. Now this one may be, you know, you may be like, oh no, that's the best album, you know, but to me, not everyone, you know, likes just a barrage of, you know, music and just, it's like a surgical roller coaster. I can understand why they call it Brain Salad Surgery. And I love avant-garde music. I love complex music. Again, this album is one, you know, it's on the Mount Rushmore of ELP albums. But I don't know, Jerusalem I Love, Toccata is my favorite song off this album. You Still Turn Me On's a great Greg Lake song. I prefer Carnival Impression, Second Impression from that epic. It's a great album. I mean, I really enjoy it. But would I recommend this to someone to begin listening to Emerson, Lake and Palmer? No. And I like some of these albums that I'm about to mention better than this one, but it is, don't get me wrong, I don't hate this album. I'm not, you know, slamming it. It's a great album. It's just, you know, not as highly rated by me. Next is going to be ELP. It's a solid debut album. It's very accessible to the general public, yet again, it's very complex. So those are two combinations that I really enjoy. If an album is complex and it's still accessible, you have really accomplished something. So to me, it's a solid debut. It's a showcase of virtuosity. You've got Barbarian, a heavy song, probably one of the heaviest songs they ever played. Take a Pebble's my absolute favorite song from this album. It's very King Crimson-esque, you know, from like it. I could hear it being played on like In the Wake of Poseidon or something. Knife Edge is such a mind-blowing song. Tank, again, sounds like a Nintendo game, you know, on this one. Three Fates is give or take. Lucky Man is, you know, that's the big hit off the album, but, one, you know, I could take it or leave it, basically. But yeah, ELP, solid debut album. Next is going to be Trilogy. Trilogy is what I refer to as ELP's Comet. It starts very strong. The first 4 songs are very strong, and after that, it just kind of, it's okay, I guess, after that. But the first 4 songs are so strong to me that carries it all the way to number 2. The Endless Enigma sounds like a conglomeration of Genesis and Esquivel and Bach. I mean, all put together. It's just everything. You know, second song, third song, From the Beginning is my favorite song off this. I rated a 5 out of 5. Greg Lake, incredible guitar, incredible vocal. It's very accessible. It's just a wonderful song. And it's my favorite song off this. The other, you know, there's some more. The Sheriff, Hoedown. It's listenable. It's tolerable, I guess, but not up to par of the other 3. And finally, we get to my favorite Emerson, Lake and Palmer album, and that is Tarkus. Tarkus is a masterpiece with outtakes. That's kind of how I see it. The first side, Tarkus, the epic, a 5 out of 5. Incredible, mind-melting music. It's very complex. It's very accessible in some parts. Anything that you want from ELP is in this one song. It just is. And it carries that. It's half the album, so it carries this album. After that, I consider it to be like ELP's metal. You know how metal had like Echoes, Pink Floyd's Echoes, and then the rest of it's kind of, you know, okay. That's kind of the way this album is. But Tarkus is so powerful that it's just, I couldn't live without this one. This is the one ELP album I could not live without. And it was close between this and Trilogy. But anyways, I Like a Time and a Place is okay. The Only Way is okay. Jeremy Bender's kind of a, you know, piano saloon, kind of what I think the goofy part of the Beatles would do. So, you know, Are You Ready, Eddie, sort of a rockabilly goof type thing. You remember like Led Zeppelin did with Hot Dog, stuff like that. I mean, it's okay. But yeah, Tarkus, just couldn't be an ELP without that to me. So those are my favorite ELP albums, ranked from least favorite to favorite. Give me your thoughts on ELP. Give me your thoughts on what I ranked ELP according to you. Like, subscribe, and until next time, you guys take care.